So this is what we're going to focus on, is content conversion. It's great creating all this content, but have you got that process in place to convert it at the end? And we're going to go through a process for that. Oh, nearly fell over already, and that wasn't from drinking. There is a cable here that I fell over, but I'm sure there's a few people here. If I'd done an alcohol test, it might be a bit of a problem. So anyway, okay. So first of all, one thing that's important is building the audience on social media. You need to build that audience on a consistent basis. You want to see that your social media following is going up on a regular basis. Doesn't matter if I have 1,000 followers on Twitter or 50,000 followers on Twitter. It does if it's a relevant audience. So you need to figure out, well, is your audience growing and is it relevant? Are you checking on a regular basis to see, have you got a relevant audience across Facebook, Twitter, or other channels? So you need to investigate this on a regular basis. So there's a couple of tools that you might look at. If you start off with a free tool, you might go to Twitter and go to analytics.twitter.com and just look at the profile of your audience. That shows me the interest of the audience. For me, it's technology, marketing, entrepreneurship, which is what I want. That's the audience I want to attract. So I know I'm building the right type of audience. So yes, I do want to build that following, because when we're sharing out that content, you want to have that audience there that's listening, that's interested, that's going to reshare that content out. Because you're building this funnel, so you're creating this content, and you want to get it distributed, and you want to get it shared. Another tool is Social Rank. And Social Rank does analysis of your Instagram followers. So for every different platform, there's different tools available to do that analysis to see. So with Social Rank, I can go in and filter followers by a whole range of criteria based on country or interest, and I can filter all this out, and I can identify the most relevant people. Now, there's another tool I came across actually at the show here called Affinio. And Affinio, if you've got less than 10,000 followers, you can use Affinio for free, and it'll do a full analysis of your Twitter profile, and it gives you really detailed, useful information. And like I say, but you would do this across each of your channels. So you're looking here for Social Rank, you're thinking from an Instagram point of view, do I have relevant people? Now, you can do things like export and use this to create a Twitter list. So for example, if you have filtered out a group of people and thought, wow, these are people I want to build a relationship with, you might want to extract that information and then create a Twitter list on the back of that. So that's available through Social Rank. Or you could use something like Rival IQ, which allows you to do a comparison across all your competitors to see, well, how are you doing related to growth across your social media channels with all your different competitors? And that's Rival IQ. So again, you're building an audience. You want to make sure that it's a relevant audience and that it's growing on a regular basis if it is a relevant audience. Can everybody understand me so far? Okay. Nobody understands Irish, do they? I won't talk Irish, will I? Díobh goit, conas atá tú? No? No, okay. We'll leave that one, okay. So you want to build the audience. Now you want to build relationships with the audience because you want the audience to take action. So build relationships to get them to take action. You can look at the citizen influencer or a power influencer. Citizen influencer is your regular follower, fan, customer. You want a relationship with them. The best way to build a relationship with them is through content. And that's why we provide valuable, useful content to try and form that relationship with our audience. We're providing content on a consistent basis, delivering always valuable content we're sharing. And we're building that relationship. Now, what's valuable on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, it's different depending on the channel. Like sometimes valuable content on Facebook is just to engage and get our audience smiling or interacting with us. So it's not always a really good quality post. So you want to build a relationship. So build relationships at scale using content. And then you look at the influencers as well. So it's going to be really important to identify influencers in your industry and build relationships with those influencers. And that's where you build relationships at a one-to-one basis with the influencers. I came here to this first conference about 4 years ago, and I knew nobody. It was an Irish guy over here coming over with a funny accent. Nobody understood me. So first time over, and I didn't know anybody. and I wanted to build influence in the social media and the content marketing industry. So I identified a list of 100 people, and I said, these are people I'm going to build a relationship with. So I thought about all the time, what can I do to help them, not what I can get out of it. So Joe Paluzzi was on that list. You know, Andrew, what's Andrew's surname? Davis. He was on that list. There's a lot of different people on that list. I had a big list, and I was going around this conference trying to meet these people to build a relationship. And so I was identifying that and thinking, well, how can I provide value? So me providing value was, well, can I promote them? I did interviews with them, and I promoted them. I do reviews of their book. I actually done, you know, I do a review, and I do a video review, and I put it up to Amazon. Because I know every author loves getting a review, you know. And if you get a video review, you're going to watch the video. They're going to see me in action on it. And I'm going to, you know, if it's a good book, I'm going to give a good positive review. So anything to build that relationship. Because now then you get to a stage where now you can actually ask them as a friend, can you help out, you know, with content that you want to get promoted or involve them in your content? It's so much easier. So it's focused initially, how can you add value to them, not looking what you want to get out of it. I was at a speaking event recently, and it was myself and another guy called Brian Dean were speaking. This lady comes over to us and said, would you mind if I get a picture? So I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I stood beside Brian. And then what you do? She gave me the camera. So it's not that influential then. Okay. But so yeah, content and active engagement. You want to engage with your fans and followers. When they are interacting, you want to interact back with them. And then focus on the influencers. For influencers, you're probably going to look at some tools to help identify the influencers. What generally happens is, even if you pick out 3 or 4 people you know are influential, and you start working with them, your list grows because they start recommending people to work with. So it's not that difficult to build that list. What Tracker does is help you identify who are the top influencers to start off with. Who are they communicating with on a regular basis? And it helps to track then all the communication with the influencers, and even tracks the relationships, so you can see across the different levels the relationships with each of the influencers at different levels. So it tracks all that as well. Because you want to have that list and want to be interacting on a regular basis. And with influencers, it's not an on-off campaign. It's not like a traditional campaign. It's ongoing relationships you want to build with these people. And trackers are useful for that. So you've built an audience on social. You've built relationships. But typically, sales doesn't happen on social media channels. It's great for building that interaction, building awareness. But you need to drive people over to your website, typically. Now, conversion could be a product sale. It could be somebody signing up for an event. It could be awareness of a campaign that's on your website, not necessarily somebody handing over money. But you typically want to drive people to your website as much as possible. And that's where the power of something like a blog comes in. So you're creating valuable content optimized around a particular topic. You get it all shared out in the social media channels. You get traffic back into your site. People hear about the content through social media, so start writing about it through websites. You start to get links to the content, and then all of a sudden it starts ranking on Google. So you can't separate any of these things out. Social media, content marketing, blogging, driving traffic, they're all connected. Like, does social media affect your ranking within Google? I don't think Google really pay attention to social media. But what happens is, more people are sharing it, more people hear about it, more people write about it through your website, and you get more links. So if you look at any research about, content that gets more shares, gets more links, and gets more traffic. So they're connected, but not from a Google perspective. It just happens if it's shared more people are likely going to write about it and link back to you. So you want to get that inbound traffic. Content Director, what this does is a tool from a company called Scoopit. This analyzes all your content to figure out, well, what's working and not working. Is it actually generating leads? If you know the type of content that's generating leads, well, then you can produce more of that content. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So you're writing all this content. Do you know all your blog posts, which ones are actually generating the leads? Because you'll find some just aren't. So it might be pointless writing about particular topics if it's not generating the leads. So you can see from here, it shows leads and conversion rate for each piece of content. Then you can analyze, well, is it the type of content that's affecting the leads? What works best? I was talking to the guys from Curata recently, and they said they found infographics help push a sale over the line. So after the lead has been generated and the sales guys are interacting with the customers, they share out an infographic, and the sales guys happen to share that to their audience. And that sort of pushes them over the line and generates sales. So you could use a tool like this to generate the leads, or you could use things like Google Analytics, and you can set up goals in Google Analytics and start measuring and tracking results of each piece of content. You want to know every piece of blog post on your site, what's happening. Are you building email subscribers? Are you generating leads or generating sales as a result of your blog posts? It also then allows you to distribute your content across all the different social channels. The blue box is scheduled content. The red is where it's saying you're missing content on these particular days. So you need to add more content these particular days. So you decide, well, how often am I going to share content? How regularly am I going to share it? And then it'll say when you need to add content to the queue. Sorry, I'm going back. I was wondering what was going on. You can see here as well that it identifies your blog post and says, these new posts you could create around these top performing keywords. So it's identifying keywords that are ranking in Google and saying create content with similar keywords to get more ranking within Google. Is this existing post you should promote to get more traffic? And it identifies both low and high converting posts. So it's saying share these existing posts more because these are generating traffic. Share these posts more because these are converting. You're actually getting business out of these, so you should be sharing these more out. So now you know exactly, well, what should I be putting in the queue? I'm not going to put everything in the queue to share. I'm going to identify the stuff that's actually working. Does this all make sense so far? Yep, okay. And this is the breakdown from Content Director from Scoobit. So it gives you the list of the posts, it gives you the share, the views, the leads, the conversion rate for each of the posts. And you can see there's a share button. So you can decide, well, I'm just going to click that button, and then I'm going to share this out and add it to a queue to share on a consistent basis. So evergreen content is content that doesn't go out of date. So with evergreen content, you want to share that consistently. Like every month, we'd share a lot of our content at least once a month, even if it's like a year old, if it's evergreen. Now, the other thing we do is, if content, we have a good post on our site and maybe it's converted quite well, got lots of shares and traffic and it's converting, and it's 2 years old and it's out of date, we'll just update that content, we'll change the publish date and re-release it like a new post. Why would you have content on your site that's out of date? Because people are going to find that content and go, this doesn't make sense to me. You know, that is no longer valid. So you need to update some of your older content. And there's nothing wrong with republishing that content to a new audience again.